He wishes for the cloths of heaven. William Butler Yeats. Had I the heavens embroidered cloths, enwrought with golden and silver light, the blue and the dim and the dark cloths of night and light and the half-light, I would spread the cloths under your feet. But I, being poor, have only my dreams. I've spread my dreams under your feet. Tread softly, because you tread on my dreams.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dash Sisters podcast, and this week it's all about love. You didn't know it, but over the past month or so, ever since we really started this podcast, Kari and I have had the secret idea to reach out to all our friends from high school and talk about this very thing. Love, love, love.
So we spoke to people about the first time they felt love, the time that they realized what love really was, how love has evolved for them. And these are friends of ours that we graduated high school with, who are all like Maithili and I, most of them are at least at the threshold of turning 30. So we thought it would be a beautiful time capsule to see what love has meant to them over the years. Here you go.
That is a very loaded question. Okay, you should just tell me the questions beforehand so that I'd have time to prepare and actually think. There's always been points in my life where, okay, looking back, I realized that was love. This goes back to my dad. When I was working as a journalist in Bangalore, obviously I was away from home, right? And most of my life, my dad and I never really had a very good relationship. I mean, it's like the relationship most dads and sons have. We quarreled a lot. We never agreed on anything. But in Bangalore, when we had that distance, we stopped fighting as much because again, we weren't seeing each other every day. When we called, we could be a better half. We could be a better selves, right? And in time, I came to appreciate a lot of things he did for me, right? Because when I was working, I understood stress. I understood having to provide, and he started becoming way more open. Like he told me about the financial struggles in our life, the debt problems. So I made it a habit to call him every single day. So the distance from my office to my home was about 20 to 25 minutes, 2 kilometers of walking. So I called him every single day from on the walk back home. I think we talked. And then I think I really understood, how much he loved us, how much he loved his kids and all the stuff that he did. Because he was telling us all the problems that were happening. And I told him, look, let me do this. Let me do this for a while. I'll quit and then I'll do this and I'll do that. And don't do it. You like what you're doing. You're good at what you do. I like that you've chosen something for yourself. You don't have to get into business. You don't have to do this. It wasn't just that he loved us, right? It was also that he was trying. Like he was trying to be a better father. Like all of his life, he forced me to be a certain way. Like he forced me to study science and math because that's what he was good at. That period of my life where I was actually working, I think he understood being a father was a lot more than just forcing your ideals on your kids. It was also about appreciating them for who they are. And he started doing that for me. He started appreciating me for who I am. So once that difference sort of ended, I finally was able to see him for who he was. He's a guy who's trying to do best by his kids. And he wasn't a perfect guy. Obviously, he had so many faults. But I appreciated that. That was a big moment for me.
I have two parts. One is like you can't say first love, it was like first crush. I mean, I had few
Okay.
crushes over time, but this one
Hmm.
first crush was like obsession. I don't know. You can say it was like kind of obsession. I just like to see her. I just like to make her feel good, or I just wish she talks to me. Or it was like that kind of obsession, and it was just like maybe I should
Hmm.
make her feel special. What would she like? What are her favorite things? It was all like that. So it was not like love thing. It was just
Sweet.
like one side thing. And I was like, okay, I didn't want anything in return. I just wanted it to be like, me expressing my love kind of thing.
Definitely parents.
Oh, wow. Okay. Tell me what that was like, what it felt like, how you recognized it.
I think it was a very hard journey to be recognized, right? Like we take it for granted, right?
Mm.
Especially when it comes from parents. When at a very young age, you find it annoying. You're like, please don't do all this stuff to me. It's
Yeah.
embarrassing. uh, and then you later, as you grow up, you realize, okay, this is the true love that you can find. Like it's the purest form of love. Once my father told me this when we were having a tough time. He's like, Harshita, one day you'll realize how much I love you. And as years go by, you're going to realize it more and more. That is so much true. when we are in our teenage years, we take it for granted, and as years go by, you realize how valuable they are to you, the love they give you. It's so safe, so secure. It just there's, I think, nothing beyond it, really. If you remember in school, also, I was always crying for my parents.
Yeah.
I always was waiting to go back home. It was always there, but yes, I had a very rebellious teenage years. I was always fighting there with them. I gave them a very hard time. But recently, I've come back to realize that they are the most important people in my life.
Just because I'm married, I'm not going to talk about it from that perspective. I think love has so many forms. The first one I experienced, obviously, there's family, and you kind of experience love there. And it's also friends, right? So that's where I first initially experienced it. I think for me, love is, I think it's like acceptance, or it's just a safe space where I can be myself. And eventually that kind of translates into marriage as well, right? It's great the first couple of months. You're just getting to know the person, you're waiting for their message. It's all of that's true, but I feel like the true love kind of comes into the picture when you're comfortable with the other person and you can just kind of be your raw self, like how you are with your friends. I think that's the advantage of boarding school. We've seen each other grow up, we've seen each other at our worst. I think that's the first form of love I experienced. Friendship also, because even after I got married, it took me so long to kind of open up to Abhishek. Like, there are parts of me that I couldn't show him for a very long time. But within my, like, a couple of girlfriends and things like that, I could say the most horrible thing on this planet. But I know it's a safe space. I know I can talk to them about anything and everything, and I know they're not going to judge me. Now, I think with time with Abhishek, now it's almost been a couple of years, we are getting there. And it's just so beautiful because you're not pretending to be someone you're not, which I think is hard if you have to do it on a daily basis.
And I knew it was right because the more I fell in love with you, the more I fell in love with myself too.
Love is what do I say? It's the comfort, like when you just had and a good day of without any work schedules, and you just went for a long shower and you come out and you sit down on your couch and just thinking about everything and those happy moments that you recall, and that is like self-love and happiness that it gives me. But like with people and everybody else, of course it's your friends and parents and siblings. Maybe there were times where I took everybody for granted. Today, when I see all of them and we're all like spread apart, and when I meet them again in different times, I like kind of hug those moments so tight because that is like pure joy for me. It is like everything. It means the world. I feel that even with my pets, like because I don't stay at home now. I live in Bangalore. So when I go back and when I see them, those last goodbyes, and I remember that, like, that look that they give me, and when I'm feeling low or something, those are the moments that I think of, like the way they look at me, or the way I went and hugged them.
The other story has to do with, like I said, a relationship at the time. So I was dating this girl. She asked me, like, do I show appreciation to my dad? Like, out of nowhere, she asked me this question: do you show appreciation to your father? And I said, no, that's not who we are. Like, my dad and I, we don't have that kind of relationship where we actually talk about that stuff or we hug each other or anything of that sort. We don't do that. That's never been our thing. And she forced me to hug him. She like, next time you see him, just give him a hug. Right? That's all. Or if you don't have to hug him, but at least show some form of appreciation. Right? Do something to show him that you care for him. So I was like dead against that idea. But then sort of I landed and he came to pick me up again. So he picked me up and we stopped for tea somewhere at this restaurant. We stopped for tea. That was his thing. He always had to stop for tea. Like every 10, 15 minutes, he had to stop for tea. Mallu thing. So we stopped for tea. So we have tea. I have a coffee. And as we're heading out, something just comes over me and he's walking in front of me. Right? So I just walk out and I hug him from behind. So I don't like turn to face him or anything. I just hug him from behind. like in the middle of the restaurant. Right, I just hug him out of nowhere, and for a second he doesn't do anything, and then he just grabs my hands, and I thought he was gonna sort of remove my hands, but no, he just held my hands for a couple of seconds. I think we stood there for like a minute there, in the middle of the restaurant, just people staring at us. We stood there for like a minute, and then I let go, and then we walked out. And as we were walking out, I saw his reflection on the door. It was a glass door, so I saw his reflection, and I saw he was crying. Like he was like tearing up, and he refused to turn around to look at me because he didn't want me to see him cry. But yeah, he was definitely crying. He was like very teary eyed, and that almost made me cry. And that was like the last time I hugged him. And that relationship like ended quite badly, but I've always been thankful to her for that, like that moment, because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have gotten that.
Then after my
Mm.
12th, I met my first love. So apparently we were cousins, like far away cousins, not first cousins, like, far away relatives.
Mhm.
But I didn't know her, like I never saw her. So she messaged me and she was really cute and all. So I was like, who's this like random girl messaging me? So I was like, hi. So my
Mhm.
first message is, hi, like, do you know me or you're just adding me on like that? She was like, you don't know me? I was like, no. And she had a crush on me from my ninth class. And I didn't know this.
Oh,
And then
wow.
she's describing each thing.
Mhm.
She's like, in ninth class, I saw you in this one wedding. You were doing like this. You were asking your dad for a bike. Your dad give me a bike. Your dad was scolding you. And she's giving all those scenarios. I was like, okay.
Mhm.
And then like, I was like, I didn't know how to respond to this. Like this one girl. I had very low self-confidence at that time. Okay. So this is the first time like some
I
girl
don't
is like
believe it, but
showing some
okay.
interest. No, I mean in girls matter. Like when I feel like
Okay.
about my own looks and all. So I was like,
Mm.
I was like, okay, so girls can like me also. Okay. And so it was like kind of new. And then we started talking. We were talking on calls daily. And then I was at home and then randomly I just went to meet her. I asked her out randomly. And she's like, no,
Hmm.
and all. She's like, no, we're good friends. And she took 1 month to say yes. Okay, 1.5 month to say yes.
Mm.
Like after 1 month, she made it so cute. Like, all these pickup lines and so cute messages and long messages with some cute photos and all. I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
oh my God. Yeah. So, yeah, that's how our relationship started. And it went on for 6 years.
Wow, I didn't know that. Wow.
And after that, we broke up. So it was basically because of our families. Like,
Okay.
we didn't know our
Mhm.
families had some differences. Like, they had some conflicts, like,
Mm.
from a lot of years. We
Mm.
didn't know about that. So we had to break up for the family's sake, like,
Oh, that's horrible. That's really sad.
Yeah. But yeah,
Mm.
it was beautiful memory. She got married and she has a
Yeah.
3-year-old daughter now.
Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow.
I mean, now I would say like flying, obviously. It's like every day
Okay.
it's a new challenge. The main reason I went into this flying thing was because I hate desk jobs. So then I started thinking like what else is there other than a desk job. Then I got an idea, so I just pitched it to my dad. He's like, do whatever you're happy with. And my mom, obviously,
Yeah.
being my typical Indian moms, they didn't like it. Like whole families traveling in
Mm.
one direction, you're going out of the box. Like no one did it before you. So when I started flying, I was like, shit. Like you get that adrenaline every morning when you take off. Like every takeoff, you have a different adrenaline rush in your this thing
Yeah.
because it's a challenge. There'll be different winds, there'll be different tasks to be done. And when you're flying, also the views you get, that's the best. Like you can die for that. When you're in front, it's never boring. Like you have a different view every day of in your workplace.
Tell me, my lover asked me tenderly, how could you live without me? I said, without you, I'm lost, like a fish out of water. He smiled. This is only your own fault.
Felt that like when I was very small, like it's like parental love or whatever. You just feel safe, I guess, to be who you are, how you are, and there's no judgment of, or there's no consequence to like what you do. They would always be there to like let you know that, or like put you back on the right track. It's like I
Mhm.
know the person is like uh, there for you, rooting for you on your side. I think that's a good feeling to have. No, I feel love is the strongest emotion, right? I feel is an antidote to everything which we see otherwise. Uh, all the problems, everything. If you have enough love, you can be happy, you can be chill. I'm a person who wants that all the time. I guess I'm always looking for that.
So here's the thing. I think for me, everyone has like a different sort of love language, right? And I think for me, the thing that registers most as love is um, when people see me and want to share things with me and sort of
Oh, wow.
make me feel like it's important to have me in their life. I guess it's the thing of knowing that I'm remembered in some way of a form for the things that I am, for the things that I think I'm most good at, you know. And one of the things that I am sort of good at is giving and remembering things about people and like, I don't know, yeah, I'll remember random nonsensical things. Like even now, I think when people need to know a few details, than the person they will text and be like,
That
hey,
is true.
because I will
Mm.
even remember like the color of the shirt someone was wearing when something happened, you know? For a long time, that was a very big uh, part of like my identity and what I was capable of doing. Yeah. So with whoever the person was, if they fell short of that sort of expectation, I guess, in my head of wanting to be seen and taken care of a certain way, then it caused a lot of resentment and it put a lot of pressure on the relationship. And also because I'm most of the time in a delulu sort of filmy land where I believe in a certain kind of like it consumes me whole. Everything
Mhm.
becomes about this one person and how what I can do to make their life more happy and more seen and more felt. So when I was on the giving end of so much, at some point, it felt like I wasn't getting enough back. And that
Mhm.
inevitably caused a lot of resentment. And that has been a sort of issue that I struggle with. Even now, things often have to be all or nothing for me. But having
Mhm.
said that, not to copy Niyati's answer, but I do think that what adult female friendships have made me realize is that there has always been an abundance of love that has come
Oh,
my
wow.
way. They have always sort of seen me as this fun person
Mhm.
who they can reach out to when things are good or bad. It's that thing Dumbledore says in Harry Potter, right? Like help will always be at Hogwarts for those who look for it. I think friendships
Mm.
sort of make you realize that love is always there when you just look for it. I was just, I think, looking for it, and I wouldn't say the wrong people. I think I was just looking for it in from the wrong lens. I suppose
Hmm.
this is not to say that I don't occasionally have like delusional thoughts about like this mad movie wala love that that I've sort of envisioned for myself always. But
Mhm.
I have come to a place where I'm like, okay, it happens when it happens.
I would say 16, 17, 18, somewhere there. I say that's the first time because it wasn't until then that the realization kind of hit that, oh, the past instances that I believe to be true are just were not, or were just not up to the bar. And in that first instance, it was peace, just peace. You know, you wake up peaceful. Every day was just peaceful. There wasn't any pressure to it. I had just come off some really hot shit, if I can say that. And after that, the contrast for this was so much more peaceful. I need to not have to question my place, my position, and my sanity. So I actually was a very chill person at 16, contrary to what my teachers will tell you. Hi, teachers. Surety in way you are, individually and together. But waking up knowing that you don't question your place, knowing that you are cared for, that you are loved, and you don't question that love. You don't feel like, is it true? Is it not true? Is it just a facade? Is it actually there? You don't have any of those doubts. It's like, yeah, it's there and I know. And so I can go about my day knowing that I have this unquestionable feeling from and towards me that just makes me feel good about life. Even something as mundane as going to get coffee. You don't just leave the house and go to the store going, oh, I'm going to get coffee, then come back home and I have to do this and I have to do that. You're just more like, I'm going to get coffee. And in the back of your head, it's just like, I'm kind of happy, you know, I'm just going to get coffee. It's a good day, great weather. Suddenly I'm appreciating everything because I don't have that sense of fire in my head. I would say that the biggest feature is the fact that it brings a sense of peace and surety that allows you to ground the rest of your life because you know that you have this anchoring factor.
Love, I think whenever we thought about love when we were like kids, it's initially from our parents. It's very unconditional. You will just be loved just for existing. Yeah. Whatever the other kind of love we see is from what maybe from like our school crushes or what we had or small little like relationships, flings that were going in and around. We really didn't know what to expect back then. From like 18 to 24, I thought whatever I was receiving or whatever like I was in that time, I really thought this was it. Probably this is what it feels like and this is how it might be. But I understood that's not the case. And you'll have to put in a lot more of yourself out there to be actually loved. Right now where I am, it was really a messy, like up and down thing. Obviously all of us go through that and we're all trying to figure out. We were all just trying to figure out what even is love. I don't think I can define what love right now is, but from where I am, I think it's just being happy in your own selves and being able to love others unconditionally. I'm not going to say unconditionally, but just being there for the other person. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Love, I'm thinking about my cat, bro. I lost my cat a few days ago. I'm thinking about that right now. Yeah, pretty
That's
sad. My
sweet.
flatmate is still hunting on the streets of Bangalore right now. The poor thing just popped up at home, and then, yeah, when I'm working in the night, she comes and sleeps on my lap.
Someone's son has promised to give me the whole world. So I don't know where you people will stay starting from next week.
Home cooked food.
Okay.
Home cooked food.
Okay, tell me more.
I'll be dying for home cooked. Like, I remember when I was in India, if my mom cooked dal or sambar, I'm like, what? The same old dal? I'm like that. Like now, it's like when I same old tiffin like upma or dosa. How we used to hate idlis back in school and stuff like that. But now it's like every like I visit back like every year once. I used to visit, but not now recently. So now I visit. It's like I don't want biryanis. I don't want non-veg. Just the dal, idli, dosa, sambar. That's it. That's enough for me. Just the plain things, the simple things which you miss when you come here. The love you get when you're eating that food. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Home cooked, that too home cooked once.
Right now where I am, I've never been at home for so long. I've always been like away from home from when I was in class third. Yeah, I never really like got to like tell, oh my god, I am loved this much. I don't think I felt it back then. Yeah, I thought I am loved back then too, and probably because I'm the younger sibling and all of that. Every younger sibling has that syndrome. Maybe we are loved less than our elder sibling and stuff like that. I was always second to anything, or I just thought if I am like if I'm like if I love the other person, probably they'll give me that second, at least second priority and second whatever little love they have for me. At least that I'll be able to receive from them. I never expected them to completely embrace me. I didn't want that complete full attention from anybody. I think I was always the giver. Love doesn't have to be like the love that's described in movies or whatever. It's probably just staying for your parents and it's probably just looking after them or it's like taking up responsibilities for them. It might sound like, yeah, what is this or stuff like that. But I think at this point where I am, I'm very, very happy. I am around my parents. Love right now is for being comfortable and being like happy. I just want to be happy on my own and be happy. Make sure everybody around me is happy.
Yeah.
I really don't think I really had a really close relationship with my sibling when I was growing up because we were in boarding schools. I didn't even have the time to contact her. But now I've started to, oh my God, she is going to be there for me whatever happens. Yeah, we have our like clashes and stuff like that. But eventually, those misunderstandings can always be like covered up by the love and like, sort of the person will be there for you. For me right now, love is if they're standing up for me, if they love me for who I am, they don't expect me to like be somebody else. I think that's more than enough for me these days. If I keep things, I think I've always kept things to myself. But yeah, if I'm able to tell you people like what I'm going through and what's happening in my heart, they're really, really, really close to me. Honestly, from whatever I've seen till now, I don't think I'm looking for like a happy butterfly marriage or whatever. I just want to be comfortable with that person. I want to be friends with him first. Like
Our 13-year-old selves will listen to this and like laugh at us. Like, what are these oldies? Yeah, like what is happening? What are they talking about? Family, friends.
But
It's my
I think sport was the closest thing I
home.
could feel. Not because I wanted to be a particular, I don't know, athlete or something. Because there's just so many storylines throughout from the time I've seen the sport, and I was also consuming like 5 to 6 sport. There are wild storylines, man, in sports. Almost like a reflection of the world. If I have to say I was obsessed with something, and I'm still continuously obsessed every single day, I think that is sport. Like it's right up there. Like you talk about the underdog stories there, you talk about how people go right at the top. But I think I've been obsessed from the time I could probably think. And I still continue to be really amazed and enamored by the whole. Irrespective of what happens, I think that has stayed consistent. And I'm like, oh damn. Like I'm so grateful I went down that journey. Like I've not done anything for myself. Have I materialized to something significant there? Not necessarily. But I think the role it plays in what the world goes through, it takes me through great sets of emotions. I don't think anything has taken me on a complete spectrum of emotions like what sport has done. Like especially when the hope is very low, no, then you like go through. I'm like, God damn it! Like sport was sort of an outlet for me personally. Like irrespective of what I was going through, it's always your safe space. This is the best possible detox. It's the only place where you're forced to be in the present, and yeah. But I think it plays a pretty decent part in at least letting people have their own tribe, something they look forward to. I don't know, you're probably talking about it in previous generations, you're talking about God or religion. I think that's the equivalent of what comes through that.
I think it was the birthday celebrations. It used to be so fun because my mom was like super creative. That used to be so special in the house. And for if it was it was my dad's birthday because that was the only time my mom and I could work together, and we loved celebrating, and like we used to do so many crazy things, like so there was this one time where we ended up collecting all these old cards and wedding invitations and everything. And we cut like some almost 1,000 stars. We made small, tiny stars and we hung them on the ceiling. And my dad, being him, he wouldn't really understand this, and he wouldn't enjoy it much. But it was our excitement, and oh my God, we used to feel so happy. I loved that. And I continued that even with my friends in hostels and everything. The surprise on that 12 o'clock had to be something special. And I would go to the shops and like get something, like always it was always connected to making something. So yeah, I love this. This is birthday thing was like so special. I put the celebration part into every little thing. Like it doesn't have to be a particular anniversary or a birthday or anything. It can just be a sudden moment of happiness and joy, and like, let's go out, let's go to a picnic. And so those moments are kind of like spread across everywhere. So I get my stimulation through all of those as well. So yeah.
Well, look who I ran into. Crowd coincidence.
Please, flirted fate. This was meant to be. Yeah, I think there's a marked difference between love when you feel it before you're 25 to love after. Because love before that is just, birds flying, and the Mehuna thing where when Sushmita Sen walks past, there's like violins playing in the background in the protagonist's head. It was like that. I was like, love is like heart exploding. I will give you my life kind of thing. At the moment you start getting older, I think you experience love differently. So when I met my husband, like we were falling in love and I was finding myself really enjoying spending time with this guy. And at that point, I was nursing myself from a heartbreak and really just dejection. I don't know if that's a word, from dating and love and all of that stuff. And I was just like, I'm going to be single, and I was just not open to men or anything like that. But I find myself, enjoying my time with this guy, but that thing of heart exploding wasn't really happening, right? So because the only context I had of what love felt like, I expected that. So I was like, there must be something wrong. Maybe this is not real love. Maybe this is not true love. Because, yes, butterflies, but your heart is not racing. That's one way of sort of differentiating it. And then I sort of had to sit with it for a really long time and ask myself all these really difficult questions. Do I think I like this guy, or do I really like this guy? Am I conditioned to like him because, your body clock? So you had to really ask yourself these questions. And only if everything came out negative and said, no, I actually just like him, was the love then real kind of thing. So I did that. For poor thing, he waited for like a year. And eventually, I learned to recognize that feeling of uh calm is more real, more adult, more secure love. The fact that it wasn't that I mistook anxiety for excitement,
Interesting.
in previous entanglements. And I wasn't anxious because Nishant from the get-go had said, um, I know you've got issues. You take your time. Just FYI, I'm in this for the long haul. I want to
Oh
marry
wow.
you. And where do you get that? Everything I'd done
Mm,
till then was playing games and does she like me? Does he like me? And there's all of
right.
this,
Mm,
but here it was steadfast, sturdy, and I was
confident.
like, something's wrong with it.
Mm.
Don't trust it.
Too good
And
to be
then
true.
I learned, yeah, yeah. And then
Mm,
I learned to trust it eventually. That's, I think, adult love as I know it. I
mm,
think when you're younger, you're looking for a partner upon whom you can pour your love. When you're
mhm,
older, you're looking for someone you love who can be your companion through life.
mhm.
It's not that your life is towards them; they're with you while your life looks ahead.
Interesting. You're kind of looking towards the horizon together, kind of, versus
Yeah.
that's a nice way to look at it. Yeah. So in the very
Mm.
heart of Kyoto, there are like two rivers that run through the city, and it's a beautiful city, surrounded by hills. And right in the middle are these two rivers that run through it, and you'll see kids and families and dogs and musicians and dancers and painters just come out there, hang out, go jogging. And so this part of Kyoto, my Kyoto world and cosmos, as I like to think about it, has always had a really special place for me. It's where I feel like I kind of found myself. It's gorgeous because they're like birds flying, and I've seen salamanders a couple of times, and you feel really connected to nature, and there's water running, and sometimes it's snowy, and then in the spring it's completely filled with cherry blossoms, so it's extremely poetic. I kind of feel like that's sort of my place in the world where I feel most at home, because I kind of struggled with that growing up, having lived in so many different places. So many places feel so important to me. And last summer, Kohei, my to-be husband, proposed to me there. That's where he met me for the first time. That's where our story kind of unfolded, and that's where 6-ish years into our relationship, he brought me there on the pretext of a totally different story. I went to Kyoto for work, for like a trip, and I found a moment. I'm like, Kohei, let's go hang out by the river, which he knew. And we had a friend with us at the time as well. So the friend was walking with us, and she was like, hey, this is so nice. Kohei tells me you guys met here. And I'm like, oh yeah, let me tell you where. And so I walk her to the spot, and like, here's where he sat and here's where I sat. And, when he met me, he stood up, and then Kohei starts to reenact that. And then he reenacts the namaste, and he gets down on one knee and he proposes and asks me whether I'll marry him. And that moment, like, it kind of, usually imagine proposals are quite quick. The girl says yes, they're screaming, they're crying, and it's over. But for me, like, our relationship has been so long, and it's kind of international, where there's the Indian side of things and the Japanese side of things, and I never could ever figure out how that would ever make sense. I was really happy to let life just flow the way it flows and be the carefree person I am, but then to kind of seriously look at each other and ask a question that could potentially impact our lives, I felt like deserved 3 minutes. So in the video my friend took, it's literally me being there going, wait, really? Really? Are we going to do this? Really? And I remember taking a second in that moment and like registering where I am, like looking at the hills, and it was a summer day. It was sunny. I felt like the sunshine on my skin. I saw two butterflies that flew up in the air, two little yellow butterflies. And then I like sort of had to ask myself, like really in my heart, like, what does this feel like for me? And I felt like more, it wasn't like a big, that whole butterflies love moment that we talk about. It felt like something a little bit bigger than myself. I felt like the impact of this decision is going to be timeless. And so I felt like
me saying yes to this moment embraces everything that I've had here, and it's under this exact same sky with this grass under my feet. I have to accept because I feel like a lot of good is coming from this. And so I did say yes, and we've been partying ever since. So this is kind of my new life love story.
I really like how much nature features into telling you that a decision is right, you know? Just the right sun, the right birds, the right trees, the right view. When we were getting married, everyone we had spoken to said, oh, you know, the wedding day is for everybody else. And because there's like hundreds of people, as everyone's talking to you. So this thing's going to go by in a blur. And then Nishant and I said, listen, we can't let that happen. Every now and then we'll hold each other and say, hey, this is happening, as a way of reminding each other, right? When you were saying that, you just took a moment and went like, what's happening here right now? Where am I really right now? To really just take stock of that memory.
I don't know if I'd ever taken anything that seriously till that point in my life, quite like consciously to really make a commitment and like be like,
Yeah.
let's do this.
I'm just thinking, Kohei in his mind going, wait, is there a possibility she can say no?
He must have been like thanking his stars the moment I was like, wait, yes.
Wait, this
Oh,
is
poor
taking too
guy.
long.
Ouch, my knee, ouch.
And with that, with a heavy, heavy heart, I really don't want to end this episode because it's so beautiful. But we come to the end of our episode. A huge thanks to all of our lovely friends who participated, starting from Pranav Shankar.
Hey man, Pranav Shankar, I told you like by message that your episode was super nice, but I found myself crying to the part where you talked about your dad and really touched me, and I'm sure everyone's kind of like wiping away tears. So thank you so much for doing this. And a huge thank you also to Datta Sai Reddy.
Datta, the moment when he clutches his heart and says, oh, my mother's dal, like honestly, that's the most relatable thing. And I feel like everybody felt that moment, right? Home cooked meals. Thank you, Datta.
Thank
Next
you.
huge shout out is to Spandana.
Spandy, I feel like you really talked about some real stuff that you've learned through only growing up, which can only happen through experience. You were super raw to share those like moments with us. And I think it's like a check-in moment for all of us to kind of feel like, okay, we can calm down too. We can trust in our friends and really grow from here together. And so I really felt your love, and thank you for sharing it with us. Next up is Niyati.
I love that Niyati said, just because I'm married doesn't mean I'm going to talk about married love, because she's so right. Love is everywhere. And I especially love that part where she went, what would 13 and 15-year-old versions of ourselves think about us right now? Because growing up can be quite a reality check. So Niyati got that so right. Thank you, Niyati. Next shout out is for Harshita.
Harshita, it's been like forever since we've seen you, since we caught up, and I feel like we always pick up where we left off. I know life takes us through big ups and downs, and I'm sure you appreciate it, and you talk from a really special, real place, and I hope we're all aware enough to recognize the value of our parents in our lives moving forward. And next, I'd love to thank Akil.
Akil's story, I think, is the most honest rendition of any story that's happened on this episode or this podcast ever. I love that he did that. So thank you so much, Akil, for your beautiful stories. My next thank you goes out to Rishwik.
Rishwik, for the love of sport. I think for everything we know you, I've known you since I was like, 10 years old, and it makes complete sense that you talk about sport the way that you did, with emotion, about the storytelling, about the love, and how it's been like such an important part of like life for you. And I hope you found the cat. Sure. Our next thank you is to Meghnad Pillai.
I'm not sure I want to thank Meghnad Pillai because he troubled the hell out of us to get the answers out. But ultimately, he was vulnerable. I mean, he did tell us that love is something he's always looking for and that is always meaning for him. So fine, I guess. Thank you, Meghnad. Our next thank you is to Muni Priyanka.
Muni, I thought your bit was a really special one, especially because you talk about love in like this almost all-encompassing way, like a snapshot of your life in the real way that you felt it, like how there were good times and bad times and sibling love and all of this, and it came from such a raw place that I think we all feel it. And next up is Samir.
Samir, you have been nothing but a scheduling nightmare
Oh.
because you're just trotting all over the world. So I will say, though, thank you for making time and for being honest with us and for telling us how love has evolved and love has grown and for taking us along for the ride. Thank you. Our next thank you is for the lovely, lovely Diksha.
Diksha, your stories are always the sweetest, always the cutest, like the birthday parties and the pets. And, we don't usually hear of love in these ways. And I think it's so true to you and so special for you to share that with us here. Thank you so much. Gary and I, we reached out to so many of our friends from high school, and yet I'm really sad that we weren't able to get in touch with everybody. It's really hard scheduling across literally 3 time zones sometimes. But for the friends who are listening, to all of your old friends talking about love, we'd love to hear from you. Text us, come chat with us, be a part of this.
Or tell your story in comments because we're in the social media age.
Yes, can do that too.
And thank you all listeners for tuning in to this dil bhara love-filled episode on Valentine's Day. I hope Maithili and I have done justice to it by wearing our lovely reds. And happy Love Day to all of you. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much. Bye.